Welcome back to Morning at NTV. Our next conversation, we are going to be talking about the fracas that is actually engulfing the Uganda People's Congress in this country, the party. The Uganda People's Congress Party, that is the UPC faction, under the Mr. Peter Waluwiri last week issued a parallel roadmap for their party primaries. This came after the UPC faction led by Jimmy Akena, the Lira municipality MP, embarked on preparations for the 2021 elections last year with an update of their own of the party district registers. The Waluwiri faction says Akena and his group are not UPC members to determine the party roadmap. Waluwiri assumed the party leadership in October 2019 following the death of his friend, that is the late Joseph Bosse. Now, to tell us more about their plans for the 2021 elections, we have Mr. Isha Otto, the party's faction secretary general, and he joins me right about now. A very good morning. Thank you for joining us.
Morning.
We do the elbow shake now.
Great.
How are you doing now?
I'm fine, thank you.
So, in 2015, Justice Yasin Nyanzi ordered that Mr. Akena was not illegally occupying the Uganda House. But then in 2016, around May 26th, we saw the Deputy Chief Justice Stephen Kavuma come out to say that Joseph Bosse and his allies should let the Akena fraction go ahead with their machinations. What do you make of that?
Now, first of all, I'm grateful to be invited here, and I'm really happy that today I'm going to put these facts straight, because there have been a lot of misrepresentation and misinterpretation of what happened in court concerning the illegalities and legalities about UPC affairs. In 2015, we went through a process to elect a party president. And as usual, we were preparing for 2016. In that process of election, many candidates showed interest, including Joseph Bosse, Professor Kakonge, Jimmy Akena, and others. David Pulkol, I could still remember, and my colleague in the 8th Parliament, Obua Ogwal. When they showed interest, Jimmy Akena declined to pick the nomination forms to participate in that election, arguing that he was not contented with the legitimacy of Olaro Tuno to conduct elections of UPC as a leadership of the party. Subsequently, these people went for consulting with party members in the country for nearly 1 month. After 1 month, Akena then came out after a ruling by Musota, because Akena's group, led by his beautiful wife, Betty Amongi, and Billy Bill, had gone to court to challenge Olaro Tunu's legitimacy to conduct elections for UPC leadership. So their case was before Justice Musota. Musota ruled that Olaro Tunu had all the legitimate power to carry out the functions of the party.
Which
Particularly,
year was this?
That was 2015. Particularly in holding election to ensure that transition takes place in the party. So after that, they went for the process. After a month, when the nomination had already taken place, when these people had already presented themselves as candidates, and after the other ruling of Musota, Akena then joined it. We went to Uganda House, pleaded with Olaro Tunu. You know, I was still waiting over the other case in court, so I want to join in. I don't know what happened in the mind of Dr. Olaro Tunu's government then. They allowed him to join in the race because the process was long. So when he joined in, there were about 7 candidates. They went around. So the first phase was what we call the district conference nomination, where you go to the districts, you consult them, and they vote for you to qualify to become a candidate before the delegates conference. And then you are elected in the delegates conference. So that process at the district conference nomination exercise was interrupted by Akena prematurely before they were taken before the what? The delegates conference. So subsequently, Akena then forcibly entered into Uganda House, took over the leadership as the president-elect and continued to graduate to president.
Was that before or after High Court Judge Yasin Nyanzi had declared that he was illegally elected?
Before, I'm coming to that.
Okay.
So when Akena assumed the office of UPC illegally and forcibly, of course with the aid of the state, because there were a number of state operatives and police who aided him to enter Uganda House. Actually, Olaro Tunu was chased in a very humiliating manner. You still have even some of the facts in this studio. So Akena assumed our office. We decided to say, no, we cannot allow our party to go into the hands of a coup leader, because this is not the practice of UPC. We think that UPC believes in a transition based on the law and a formal process, which was already designed and is within our framework of the law. So Professor Kakonge, Joseph Bossa, Isha Oto went to court. I was not a candidate in that elections, but I was an interested person. First, I was a former member of parliament for UPC. Secondly, I was a member of National Council. And most importantly, I am a member of UPC. So I looked at our constitution and I saw that there was something important.
The 2008 constitution.
Exactly. And this is the one I'm holding here. So I saw the need to go to court to put things right in my party. When I went to court, Justice Yasin Nyanzi ruled in our favor.
Indeed.
He made it very clear. Akena was not elected in accordance to the UPC constitution, and therefore the purported election of Akena to presidency is null and void.
Indeed.
And indeed, that was the end of the circus. We thought we had followed the best process to ensure that sanity is restored in our party, and also to ensure that the institutions of government, including the judiciary, is given work. And indeed, they did their work. Justice Yasin Nyanzi is a very honorable justice who is highly respected.
Moving forward.
Yeah. So what happened then, we thought Akena was going to honorably and gently withdraw from the offices of UPC, which he had occupied illegally. He did not do. He remained there. The ruling also remained there. Later in 2016, we were told that, there is an appeal. Akena had appeal against the ruling of
Nyanzi.
Justice Yasin Nyanzi. We followed the appeal in the courts and so we couldn't find it. But all of a sudden, I was then the secretary for mobilization of the party, and I was given a mandate then to organize a national council to now prepare us for now a process for a new election of the party president, since we had won the court, and so we would continue from there. Unfortunately, when I organized my chairman was then Peter Welobiri, because by then he was still the treasurer of the party. He was not yet even vice president. We organized it in Mukono. We were repulsed. Actually, a gang came from Kampala, went with some letter, purportedly from Justice Kavuma, that it was an interim order, stopping us from holding that National Council meeting and allowing Akena to continue. In fact, he said we should maintain the status quo the way we were running. We couldn't even define the status quo at the time because the legal status was very clear that Akena was not elected, he's not our president. And
but then Justice Kavuma comes in and he says, let Akena continue with the UPC party machinations and don't interfere with his cabinet.
Now,
why were there two contradicting statements?
That was the problem. If you are making an interim order, first of all, an interim order does not go forever. It must have a time limit. Secondly, there must be a case in court which would justify that you can go ahead and put an order until the case is disposed of. To date, since 2016 to date, that purported appeal, which resulted to the purported interim order, has never been heard, neither brought before court.
So legally, Akena is the president of UPC, as per Kavuma's declaration.
No, Kavuma did not make a declaration. That is a kind of...
He halted the interim order of Yasin and said, let Akena continue
did not make
with
an
his
interim order. Yasin made a ruling.
That
Yes, that this is the decision, this is the position of the party, and the party is going to go back.
Then Kavuma halted it.
Kavuma temporarily halted it. Unfortunately, how do you halt it up to date? An interim order would have had a time limit of 1 month, 2 years.
So what does that mean? Does that mean Akena is the rightful president of UPC?
Not at all.
If it was halted?
Not at all. Not at all. That appeal was not there, first of all. Secondly, the interim order was issued erroneously, and we did not respect it. And nothing has happened about it because the other ruling has not been challenged. The other ruling still stands. So we maintain ourselves, as you elaborated it here very well. From Olarab Tunu, transited to Bossa, who was vice president, in accordance to our constitution. We then transited to Peter Welubiri, who was the vice president of Joseph Bosa, who was passed on, as you know.
May his soul rest in peace.
Yes, and indeed now, Peter Welubiri, when he took over after the death of our senior brother and friend
in
October, he formed a new cabinet. I was appointed Secretary General, and we have been running our activities. You can just see
I would like to know about those activities.
Yes.
From October. You've conducted a census building exercise to establish the status of party structures and membership, both physically and politically. But first of all, let's talk about the contradictions between Yasin Nyanzi's ruling and Justice Kavuma's ruling. Why were there contradictions, in your opinion?
My opinion is
because it seems like the law has created the fracas we are seeing in UPC, misinterpretation of the law. So what do you make of that, the contradictions?
We have actually challenged by notifying the courts about what they are doing to interfere with the activities of UPC. And we are very serious about it. Because you cannot hold a party hostage in the pretense of an interim order, which does not exist legally, and yet you want to allow a masquerader to continue doing things in the name of the party. If there was a case, if there was an appeal from 2016 up to now, and you know this is a political party which is in operation every day, it would have been disposed of. Or otherwise it would have been brought before court for hearing. But it has not happened. What we discovered later was that I think it was a personal relationship between Jim Akena and then Stephen Kavuma that resulted to the so-called interim order. And that's why we just ignored, and we have continued to do our things because we have a ruling in our hand. This ruling is here with me.
We are going to talk about the activities that you've embarked on, but then you talk about
so
Akena.
There are no contradictions.
There are no contradictions.
Why? Whereas Akena is occupying a space
at Uganda House.
At Uganda House, the legal authority is not in his hand. Two,
even the bank account.
Yes, the bank account is not in his hand. That is clear. We challenge Orient Bank. We challenge Electoral Commission in court, and the cases are before court. When they wrote something, you know, it was a kind of a political syndicate where somebody was behind, where they wrote to Orient Bank to allow Akena to introduce himself as a signatory to the account. They went in and stole money, UPC's money. We took the matter to court immediately. The account was frozen, and that account remains the way it is. Orient Bank is before court. Bank of Uganda is before court. Over that, Electoral Commission is also in court. Because all that was being done were being done irregularly, and indeed, I think it was being done in a very awkward political way. We didn't think it was right, say for Electoral Commission, to introduce members of a party to the bank for the account signatory, because the process is very clear. It's not within the mandate of the Electoral Commission. We know how we transit and change signatories and leadership, but they did that, so we took them to court over it. So these were foul plays which had been going on within the party. Indeed, the state had a very big hand in the field within UPC.
Mr. Ishaoto, I would like to go on and on over this issue, but then I would like to get more facts on the issue. You said Mr. Akena is the masquerader, but on the other side, Michael Osinde, the spokesperson of that UPC faction, says Mr. Otto and Walubiri Peter are the masqueraders. They don't even think you are UPC. What do you make of those allegations?
Osinde or any other Ugandan have no right to determine whether I am UPC or I'm in NRM or what. It is my fundamental right to belong and believe in a party. So those would be street talks. You just dismiss them. Secondly, we have been carrying out party activities all through. And so we are moving on.
You are moving on because in 2019, you had the Akena faction also release their own update of the party registers per district and their own roadmap. They said they were going to focus on the grassroots structures and not the idea of fronting of one opposition candidate by 2021. And you, in October, after the death of Bosa, whose reins were now passed on to Mr. Walubiri Peter, may his soul rest in peace, Mr. Bosa. You conducted some census building structures. Tell me about that phase. How has it been coming along?
The census exercise has been going on excellently. We have forms in nearly all the villages in the country. And members of the party are registering. They are putting their names. their contacts, their villages, their parishes, and all those where they actually belong, because we thought it is very important to conduct a census of the party membership. Let me challenge you.
What did you find out?
We found that we have a number of UPC members. We have a big number of UPC members. And now we know how many are in which sub-county, how many are in which district. We can now go ahead with other activities. The challenge we have in our politics in Uganda, including parties like NRM and FDC and so on, if you ask them, how many of your members are in this sub-county or this district, they will not tell you. They will not tell you, but they say, we are everywhere, everybody is our member. So we thought, first thing first, let me know who is a true member of the party by conducting census, even including our own country. We don't know how many people we have. It is important, fundamental, that you do a census to establish the number of the population or the number of your membership so that you go and plan accordingly. So that phase has gone on successfully. We are actually concluding on the 30th of this month. And that's when we shall release the entire detail of the exercise.
The 30th of this month,
Exactly.
the same time when the Akena faction will be holding its delegates conference. Won't that bring about some clashing?
I don't think Akena Group is going to hold a delegates conference.
That's what they contend.
Since 2015, that Akena found himself in Uganda House, he has never held any meeting. No meeting. I have called twice meeting of National Council, but aborted because of state and interference from Akena. But they have never held a National Council meeting. If they assume they are in office, they have never called a delegates conference. They cannot do it.
Mr.
They have been promising next month.
Mr.
But for us, we are not just talking.
Let's not engage in the arguing conversation.
Yes.
Let's talk about the facts.
Yes.
You are the faction allied to Walubiri. Akena also has a faction. Now I'm looking at a scenario where your faction produces a candidate for the 2021 elections, and the Akena faction also produces or fronts a candidate for the 2021 elections under the UPC card. Won't that create confusion?
In 2016, UPC did not front a presidential candidate. You know the reason?
You just married, they married NRM.
Because Akena went and made a deal with President Museveni and NRM.
We are going to get to that.
Government. And they got their monies, they got their business. They said nobody should stand against me, Mr. President. You will just go and have a few positions for parliament and so on. That was the deal. Akena blocked the party. For us...
Was it part of the deal for the wife to become Minister of Kampala?
Of course. Actually, Beta Moi succeeded me, if you don't know. She succeeded me in Oyam South. And she was UPC, Member of Parliament. All of a sudden, we just found her a Minister for lands.
But let's not get into
that.
I
think we
let's
thought,
not veer from the main conversation.
Exactly.
But then the issue is, if you front a candidate and the other side fronts a candidate, won't that create confusion within the political party of UPC? I
have heard, but I don't want to rely on rumors. I've heard Akena coming out publicly. And I can tell you, we shall be witnesses to this statement, all of us, that he cannot contest against President Museveni. He's still going back to the villages to put his structure.
The grassroots.
And so there is no contest against President Museveni. Our position is that UPC party in 2021 will front a candidate for president, from LC1 to presidency. That is our position. That is the position of UPC. Indeed, you cannot claim UPC party is not ready to front a candidate for president when UPC was ready way back in 1958 when we were struggling to bring independence. 2 years when Obote was in a logical here, we got independence. And so we have been struggling to free Uganda and also to liberate our country from foreign interference and, of course, dictatorship.
Indeed.
So we continue to do these 3 elections.
As you put in place your own strategies, Akena also has a strategy. He's saying, I'm focusing on grassroots structures. Yes, because we are not going to focus on the issue of fronting one candidate. Okay. What are you focusing on as the Walubiri UPC faction?
Exactly. The census is going now to...
Which is done until March.
It's already done.
Number 2.
Is going to determine the next action. The next action, according to our roadmap, is to do internal party elections. And that is what we are talking about, putting now structures. When you know your membership, are you putting structure on the hair? No.
Go ahead.
UPC is going to put structures based on the membership that they already have. After the structures, we shall go and hold a national council meeting to clear out some of the policy positions of the party, and we shall go straight to electing our candidates to participate in the general elections. These are our activities. And we continue to do this as we do mobilization, using many other methods. But first thing first, we know our members, we are going to put the party structures based on those membership, and then we shall put our candidates to participate in election. Not only to participate in election, but also to carry on with our struggle to get power back to UPC. Yep. So those are our activities.
Well, it's not news that the Akena faction is now married to the NRM.
Clear.
The whole country knows that.
Everybody knows.
Are you striking any alliances with any political parties?
UPC policy position has been clear that we always engage and cooperate with genuine opposition parties who have been struggling to have the NRM government out of power. This had been our ideal position.
Have you
and we
identified any?
continue to do the same. But that does not mean that we sell off our rights to any party or to any individual. So we totally disagree with the way Akena is doing his politics. We don't think he's doing a UPC politics, he's doing a personal politics for benefits and for survival. That is not UPC project. Our project is clear. We continue to mobilize UPC members, prepare ourselves for elections, most importantly also engage other political parties that we see them as genuine in the struggle for liberation of Uganda together, but through elections. And this is a continuous policy position. We have not changed from that, and we are not about to change from that. Yes. So, secondly, as 2021 nears, I can tell you we are aggressively on the ground. I am a candidate. You will see me come over in these elections, where I cannot speak about it here now because we are still going through these other processes, and the processes are continuing very well. And we also urge our members of the party to come out to express interest to stand for various positions in the forthcoming elections, from LC1 to president. In the roadmap, we are waiting for people who shall express themselves to come for presidency. And so the country should be prepared. UPC is coming up very seriously and strongly, and more strategically. We are not just doing the I don't know how we call it, the populist politics. We are doing the arithmetic politics, where 1 + 1 = 2. That's why we want to know our numbers. We want to know who comes from where.
Not just what appeals to the many.
Not at all. Not just talking around town and so on, but we want to go down and find out who are our members, who is our candidate, how do you become a candidate. And then the front line.
Help us understand how Akena's alliance with the NRM affected operations within the UPC.
Very wonderful question. Since 2015, first in 2016, we didn't put a candidate for presidency because of this Akena political game. Over time, he has been doing nothing, occupying our office illegally. He has actually displaced the official office of the party. And by the way, the landlord has also taken him to court for criminal trespass.
Uganda House?
Yes. That is the reality. Yes, he's in court. These are public issues. So he has really stampeded on our activities, because I told you when I called National Council meeting twice, they aborted because of Akena conniving with the state security and arresting our people. I was arrested and taken to Kireka with my president now, Peter Mukiri Warubiri. We took 2-3 days and we were released unconditionally. Later we were told, Akena had claimed we are mobilizing people to come and beat him up in Kampala, when we had called a National Council through all the documents. So he has been stampeding on party organ meetings. He has been stampeding on mobilization exercise. But I can now tell you that history is gone. We are now back on track. We are going to encounter all forces, all negative forces that would interfere with the programs of the party.
What do you make of Akena's assertion that he's running a functioning party?
I think I don't want to engage a lot on Akena, because
the assertion is he's running a functioning party, but for you, you're saying no, it's supposed to be the other way around. So what do you make of that?
That is a fallacy.
Why?
Because there is nothing that shows that is running the party. Nothing. Absolutely nothing.
If there's nothing to show
the only enjoyment I see him is posturing with the president in a photo, to be seen by the people. That's all we see. That has got nothing to do with the business of UPC. Although at a personal level, he has really enjoyed. He has privilege of security protection. He has privilege of accessing state money the way he wants. He has the privilege of getting minister from his own house or from his own membership. He enjoys those privileges.
First forget the
at
privileges.
the expense of UPC
yes,
party.
but Akena maintains that you people block the account of the party and he cannot run the activities of the party because of that. After you blocked the account.
No, he should have gone to court. He should have gone to court. Yeah, because how would we block the court if we didn't have a case? How would we block the court if we didn't have a case? I mean the account. Because we had a legitimate case and the court found it warranting not to allow any masquerader to pocket his nose into the accounts of the party. Indeed, can you imagine even the office he's occupying? He's just about to pay. He's just about to pay billions of shillings as trespass money for occupying UPC's office illegally.
Wow, this is a really contentious issue. And 2021 is getting closer. Won't this fighting internally affect you? In a nutshell, we are wrapping up.
No, as a party, all our membership who had been confused by the element of Akena and our opponents who find themselves hidden within Akena and the system, we have talked to them. We have encouraged them to go to the ideals of the party, to follow the party constitution and ideals, programs and policies, and they have understood. So it won't affect us. One or two individuals may be affected. And would
you be willing to reach out to the Akena faction for reconciliation?
There is no point for reconciliation because we are not in disagreement which is structured. The only point is we continue to share issues that we should not allow our party to be hijacked and taken over by another party.
Mr. Isha Otto Amiza, the party Secretary General of the Walubidi faction, thank you very much for having made the time to speak to us.
My pleasure.
It's been an absolute pleasure.
My pleasure.
I even forgot and shook your hand.
My pleasure.
But you haven't been to your hand in recent days.
My pleasure indeed.
The show is Morning at NTV. Please adhere to the advice of the Minister of Health. Do not shake hands. Do not do any hugs, no kisses. I've been talking to Mr. Isha Otto. He is the UPC Walubidi Factions Secretary General. Let's take another short break. We'll be right back with a conversation centering on HIV in the workplace. We'll be right back.